this morning. There were some doubters, I think, late last night. Rockies and Diamondbacks getting ready to go game 3 of this 4-game set, and we welcome you inside beautiful Coors Field with my partner Ryan Spilborghs. I'm Drew Goodman. To say that last night was tough, to say the last 3 games were tough would probably be a tremendous understatement. Hard thing to believe is in the 6th inning yesterday, it was a 2-1 ball game.
I really did not want to talk about last night's game at all. And when you look at the last 3 games, 3 backbreakers. Carlos Gonzalez, he has this great hit late in the game. You're not sure about his wrist. You look at last night's game, and I was talking about it. Probably one of the worst games I've ever seen. And on both sides, they were going to say whoever won, it was the best, worst game they've ever played. 9 for 46 combined, both teams with runners in scoring position. Anything that could go wrong would go wrong on both sides. You had Jake Lamb at third base making 3 errors. Everything that you could imagine was going on last night. It was a roller coaster of emotions, and I'm just going to shake it off.
And that's hopefully what the players do. We talked to Cargo in the locker room a short while ago about last night and recent events.
You can't think too much about it. You just gotta put it in the past and show up the next day and just continue to work hard and believe that this game is so good that it will give you another opportunity. And the game gave me another opportunity yesterday to revenge. But too bad we didn't get the win. But that's the way it works, It's the same way it was gonna work for the team together. We're gonna win together, and we're gonna have some tough losses.
Players always put their best face on things. You guys are trained to do that. You understand that it's a 162-game marathon, but where the Rockies sit right now as they embark on game number 74 here in a few moments. They're 5-11 in 1-run games. The last 3 games, all 1-run losses. And though it looked like last night they were finally going to steal that victory from the jaws of defeat, it still has not happened once this year.
It has not happened once, and we wanted so badly last night to see that. When you lose 3 straight games in the 9th inning with the lead, it is hard to come back from. But we do know and we appreciate the resiliency of the Rockies. The last time De La Rosa was on the mound, he stopped the 3-game losing streak. You need him to do that again today.
It'll be start number 3 since the return to the rotation of Jorge De La Rosa. And at home in particular, he's been dominant against the Diamondbacks. Rockies, Arizona, come on back to Coors Field with us. Beautiful afternoon in the Mile High City, and the Rockies getting set for the Arizona Diamondbacks, looking to erase as quickly as they can the memory of last night. 4.5 hours, longest National League game in history, 9-inning National League game in history. And Gene Segura steps in. Jorge De La Rosa's first pitch is off the plate, and it is ball one. De La Rosa, 8-1 lifetime at Coors Field with a 1.98 ERA against these Diamondbacks. Team he was originally employed by way back. You know, it's funny, I think around baseball, Spilly, everybody knows the name Jorge De La Rosa. He's closing in on 100 career victories, and you think, oh, he's been a Rocky his whole career. He bounced around quite a bit in his early 20s.
I think back, he was a relief pitcher with the Kansas City Royals when the Rockies first got him.
2 balls and a strike.
De La Rosa has been working on his mechanics. He's smoothed them out a bit. He's able to throw a lot more strikes. That was a struggle for him earlier on in the season. Walks have always come around to hurt any Rockies starting pitcher, and that was same true with De La Rosa.
And it's 3-1 on Gene Segura. De La Rosa also with Milwaukee, with Boston, all of those organizations, albeit briefly, and then settled in and has had a terrific career in a Rockies uniform. Michael Bourne, the hero from last night, from Arizona's perspective, with a 9th inning single that gave them the 10-9 advantage that they enjoyed at the end of the night. That's not what you're looking for to begin. A walk to Segura, who can really run. And last night, the Diamondbacks stole 6 bases. Southwest batting order for Chip Hale. Bourne's in there in center field. Goldschmidt, he's been on a tear. Yasmani Tomas, 2 home runs last night. Wellington Castillo, he got to watch yesterday primarily. Then Peter O'Brien, Brandon Drury, Nick Ahmed, and Shelby Miller. A lot of those stolen bases were against another left-hander, Tyler Anderson. And I don't think Anderson's performance should be lost. It was in the immediate aftermath of that debacle last night. But Tyler Anderson gutted his way through 5 2/3, and at the end of it had given up only 2 runs and 8 punch-outs.
He's been really, really impressive, and instantly, as I've seen him now for 3 starts, he's starting to remind me of a Jeff Francis. He knows how to pitch, can speed you up, slow you down, elevate fastballs. He has some savvy. He understands how to pitch.
He's got savvy, he's got moxie, and I don't think we should sell his stuff short. A lot of times we use those words to describe a guy that, okay, he's a little bit short in terms of, you know, stuff, but that's not necessarily the case.
No, not at all. When you can touch 93 with your fastball, that's not anything short. That's better than major league average with your fastball velocity. He can do whatever he wants. He just understands how to pitch. And there's a difference between just throwing the baseball, being up there on that mound, throwing as hard as you can, and pitching.
And Spilly, there was traffic last night, obviously. A lot of those strikeouts came in critical situations. Like first inning, bases loaded, nobody out. You only give up 1 marker. That's really good.
Well, you don't have 2 teams go 9 for 46 with runners in scoring position if you don't have some good pitches in tough situations.
2-1 on Michael Bourne. Nolan still defending the possibility of a bunt at third. Daniel Descalso has the start at first base today. And Bourne hits this ball pretty well to left field. Going back is Barnes, and he'll make the catch in front of the wall. Segura tags and moves up to second. Let's take a look at the Rockies defensively. Barnes in left, Blackman in center. Carr goes back in there. He had the big pinch hit yesterday. Sore wrist kept him out of the starting lineup last night. Arenado, Story, LeMahieu, Descalso, and Tony Walters is doing the catching. Fargo looked like he was going to be the hero, Spilly, and unfortunately the 9th inning happened. Now here's Goldschmidt. After just a terrible start for Paul. He's hitting 300 now, 5 for 8 in the series. 14 home runs, 46 RBIs. Not to mention that he has 10 stolen bases. You know, it's the 4th time in his career he's been in double digits in steals.
Oh, I believe it. He does everything well. Stolen base last night. And the Rockies' record this year, when teams steal more than 1 base, they are 0-10. They have not won a game if other teams steal more than 1 base against the Rocks.
And with a left-hander who is typically slower to the plate like De La Rosa, it is much easier for a plus speed guy like Segura to swipe third than it is second. And with 1 out, that's got to be heavy on the mind of Jorge. And this ball is a base hit, and Arizona will take a 1-0 lead.
It starts with the walk. You lead off with the walk. Great read by Segura at first base on Michael Bourne's fly ball to left field. And then Goldschmidt. Last night, the Arizona Diamondbacks 5 for 20 with runners in scoring position. 1 for 1 to start off this game today. Ball just finds too much part of the plate, and Goldschmidt didn't make solid contact. He just hit it right where nobody was standing. But that's the importance of making sure you pitch the contact with the leadoff guy. The walks always come back to hurt you at Coors Field.
Yasmani Tomas was Goldschmidt at first.
Tomas has had an interesting 3-game series against the Rockies. Hit second the first game, hit 8th last night, hitting 2 home runs, and today, he's hitting 4th.
And that's pounded into the ground, foul. Matt Williams feels it nicely. Here's what Tomas did yesterday against Jason Mott. His first pitch was hit out, and then against Estevez, trying to protect that 9-8 lead, he went oppo. De La Rosa in his last outing in Miami, 3 runs over 6 innings. Wasn't necessarily pretty, but it was effective.
The 3 home runs were all solo shots.
That was a game the Rockies and Marlins set a major league record as you look at the arsenal of De La Rosa and the frequency of which he uses it. 5 solo home runs for the Rockies, 3 for the Marlins. Never happened before where all the runs were solo home runs above 5, and they shattered that with 8. 1 ball, 2 strikes on Tomas. Just missed, according to Alan Porter. Porter is behind home plate. Jeff Kellogg, the crew chief, he's at first base. John Tempane at second. Paul Nauert is at third. There's Alan. Perhaps saw Nauert sore. Nauert is this morning.
Sore.
Swung on and missed. Good pitch. There's out number 2. Think about it. Nauert had to squat 381 times last night.
I feel like I stood for 4 hours and 30 minutes last night, and I feel bad for Paul, but I kind of feel like I went through it with him last night. Kind of, sort of.
Listen, I was in the mountains last night with the family, and I was curious because we were at one of my son's games why you all decided to stand and then stand for 4.5 hours.
Well, Mark that's his major league debut, and being a college football broadcaster, he said he's always stood up calling football games. He didn't know what to do. Drew, you didn't tell him, you didn't give him like a little list on, hey, these are the things you do as a play-by-play guy.
Well,
number 1, you should have told him to sit.
Because there's the possibility that there's long games here at Coors Field. Actually, a lot of times in football, swung on it and missed. In football, a lot of times I would say 90% of the time I do stand. But football is a different animal.
So that's what happened.
Okay. And so that's why you guys stood.
And rather than let him stand by himself, being the teammate that I am, I stood with him.
Well, congrats to Mark. I know he had a lot of fun. I know he did a great job, and I know his feet are sore today. This is fouled off, 1-2. In fact, Mark is with us, and he's probably seated right now. My guess is, no, you were seated and you stood up.
No.
I know.
A foul ball came this way. I had to get up and.
Okay, but you were seated.
All right, I'll sit down.
There you go.
Yeah.
That's right.
Yeah, I've been seated.
Are you a little sore, a little tired?
I had a lot of adrenaline going last night.
Yeah.
It was fun to be with Spilly. So
you're one of the few who
who
ever
knew it
uttered,
would be
uttered that phrase.
Historic night, right? You know.
Yeah, well, that was an historic night. Unfortunately, the Rockies were on the wrong end of it. I think Spilly, you described it best, that either team was going to say this was the worst. Worst was going to be part of the description.
Yeah.
And you just hope that it was the worst best night, as Arizona could say.
Instead of just the worst night. And that's what Chip Hale, I went and sat with him this morning after his press conference. I said, what did you have on last night? And Chip Hale was Tucson's AAA manager for several years. He said, remind me of a PCL game, and it was probably the worst game I've ever seen.
This ball's lined to the gap, and it's cut off by Barnes, so it'll be just a single. Castillo, who's been struggling, 5 for 28 with 16 strikeouts, got a pitch that was just sitting up and saying hit me, and now there's 2 more on with 2 outs and a run in for Arizona, and that'll bring up Peter O'Brien. Fans, you can join in on the conversation. Send us your thoughts, statements, photos, questions. Use Twitter or Instagram. Must include the hashtag Toyota Talk for it to get to us.
De La Rosa has been fantastic in his last 5 appearances. That's 2 of them were starts. He was 3-0 with a 1.89 ERA and a 167 opponent batting average. For De La Rosa, it's about his fastball command. And this year, it's being hit. It's being hit very hard. 460 batting average against the fastball, but when he's able to locate it, and that just proves the fastball command has not been there. It's too much in the middle part of the plate. It sets up those secondary pitches he loves to throw.
He's ahead with the off-speed pitch on O'Brien, 0-2. Arizona with the victory yesterday actually moved ahead of the Rockies in the division. In the 3rd place, Rockies falling to 4th. And he got it. In the inning, a run on a couple of hits. There was a walk as well. And Arizona leads 1-0 early. tremendous season. He's getting ready to lead off against Shelby Miller. Come on, Chuck Nasty, stay hot. Whatever you throw up there, he has been barreling the baseball. Here's the Southwest batting order this afternoon for Walt Weiss. DJ LeMahieu, speaking of guys who've had a terrific first half. Then Nolan Arenado, Cargo in the cleanup spot. Trevor Story, he came off the bench yesterday with a pinch hit. Descalso will be batting sixth. Then Brandon Barnes, Tony Walters, and De La Rosa against Shelby Miller. One of those guys acquired in the offseason by Arizona. And Shelby Miller, like Zach Greinke, got off to a slow start, but he hasn't really turned it around. He was on the disabled list. He had an injury to his finger. His last outing was his best outing of the year by far.
Well, and he's been struggling mechanically. Fastball velocity for Shelby was way down, throwing about 92 miles an hour. He touches 95, 96, 97. The mechanical adjustment he made, he hurt his hand, his right middle finger, hitting the mound on a follow through.
This ball crushed deep right field. Stay fair, and it's gone. Home run, Charlie Blackmon.
That's how you answer back. Left-handed batters hitting .321 against Shelby Miller. That's Blackmon's 11th home run of the season. Does not miss the fastball. Gotta love his rhythm, his timing. It's been great ever since he's come off the disabled list with the foot injury. And that pitch is inside. See it on the Subaru Super Mode. Castillo's having to reach inside. That's a mislocation. Was it a tweet from Scott that said, let's go hunt the fastball? It's a good tweet.
I'll tell you what, Charlie, you just cannot say enough good things about who he's become as a big leaguer. And he's so steady, but he keeps getting better. It's not, I mean, the last 2 years were really good. He was an all-star, right? Really good. He's taken it to another level this year. He's on pace to hit 25 home runs. He's been an upper teens guy, which is great for a leadoff guy. I mean, he doesn't think home run when he comes up.
No, and the trade-off is he only has 6 stolen bases. I like the fact that when you have a guy, a leadoff hitter like Charlie Blackmon, ranked second in the National League in RBIs behind Matt Carpenter for a leadoff hitter. He gives you that pop from the front of the lineup. We know he can steal bases, but he's done everything in his power to take extra pitches, not swinging at balls. He's gotten better and better and better.
Last year he had 287, the previous year 288. 17 home runs last year, 19 the year before. Ties it at 1 with a long home run to right. 1 and 2 on DJ. That misses. LeMahieu, now he's even in the count. One of the best hitters in baseball when he's behind in the count. Hitting .307 when he's behind in the count. 2 and 2. Now back out on Miller. DJ fouls off. Now, look at the top 5 in the National League in average behind in the count. The league average is 190. Daniel Murphy, he's had a sensational year, first year at the Nationals. DJ 307. Charlie right under 300. Billy, you remember when you get to 2 strikes, you get into a defensive posture most of the time, don't you?
And to be in a defensive posture and grind the at-bat and then still be able to do damage. What makes DJ unique is the fact that his approach is always opposite field. He's willing to let the ball travel. He's willing to let the ball get deep. And that takes away so many pitches for a pitcher. Because you're not going to chase after the slider in the dirt.
Back up the middle, base hit LeMahieu. Shelby Miller may be getting a little deja vu right now. Rockies beat him up down in Arizona in his first start with the Diamondbacks.
Pay attention to DJ's legs. You see how he keeps the weight on the back. It allows that hip to come through, allows the hands to drive through the baseball. And even though the pitch is inside and he's beat by the fastball, he still has enough with bat speed and barrel control to shoot it right back up the middle.
DJ began the day at .325, fourth best average in the National League, seventh best in all of baseball. Now here's Nolan. A couple of doubles last night for Arenado. Nolan like to turn around his numbers career-wise against Shelby Miller, just 2 for 14. Outfield straight up and deep, infield straight up. DJ got a huge jump, too big a jump. He thought Miller had gone to the plate. Remember that feeling where you think you get a great jump and you realize I got too good a jump?
Usually you're counting whenever a pitcher gets to the set. Try to count, you go 1001, 1002, you get an idea of how long it takes for him to go. Typically he should have thrown a pitch. DJ had it, he read it right. Miller's teammates, they're all yelling, step off, step off. DJ trying to run into Shelby Miller because he would have been awarded the base back to first for obstruction. You don't want to give Shelby Miller an out.
Well, especially the way it started. Now that's a strike, 1-1. Arizona will shift now that the runner has been erased. Does it help Billy facing a guy like Miller in that he's, I call him a hard guy. You know, you're not going to see any huge disparity in velocity with his quote-unquote off-speed pitches.
Well, you get to hunt right down the middle.
Nolan chased there, 2 outs.
Number 5, Carlos Gonzalez.
Cargo coming up. Here's Arizona with the gloves. Peter O'Brien in left. Michael Bourne, former Gold Glover in center. Yasmani Tomas is in right field. Brandon Drury's getting the start at third for Jake Lamb. Nick Ahmed's got a good glove. Gene Segura converted shortstop over to second base. And Paul Goldschmidt, Wellington Castillo. And Cargo last night, huge pinch hit double to give the Rockies the lead in the 8th. And this ball's lined to the gap in left center field. It'll take one hop and kiss off the wall. And Cargo will cruise into second with a double. Guess the wrist is just fine.
Yeah, he should hurt his wrist more often. Cargo hunting fastball, gets it. Shelby Miller having a difficult time this season trying to harness the fastball. Hasn't been able to throw it much for strikes, and when he does, it's getting crushed. Cargo with the smooth timing. You love it when he's on time with that leg kick. And there's not many guys in baseball that can hit a line drive like that. One hop the fence.
It's a thing of beauty, isn't it? And for Cargo, today is game number 900 in a Rockies uniform. That's 6th all time behind Helton, obviously Walker, Vinny, Tulowitzki, and Bichette. Trevor Story. He has familiarity with Shelby Miller, 1 for 5. That one was a home run.
Story pinch hit for the first time in his career last night and broken 0 for 14. Rockies were with runners in scoring position with his first pinch hit single. Rockies had 26 at bats last night with runners in scoring position. That was the most in the major leagues of this season.
I can't recall hearing a number, a figure that high in a 9-inning game. 26.
26. It was the 3rd most in Rocks history. They only had 4 hits.
And at one point they were 0 for 14 with runners in scoring position. Here's the first of the day. 2-1. Ball game tied at 1. Arizona got a run after a leadoff walk to Segura. Paul Goldschmidt ended up driving him in. And the Rockies tied it when their leadoff man Charlie Blackmon hit a home run. 17 leadoff home runs in Blackmon's career. Two ones fouled off. Shelby Miller out of Brownwood, Texas. Talk about a schoolboy star. His senior year at Brownwood High, he threw 4 no-hitters. 1 was a perfect game. Is that any good?
3 of those were in a row.
Weren't a lot of volunteers to go face old Shelby back in high school, huh?
No, thank you.
Miller, what's the matter with you? You gave up a hit today. Broken back, soft liner to Drury. That'll end the inning. We'll go to inning number 2, tied at 1. Charlie Blackmon did not miss this offering from Shelby Miller.
Coverage of baseball? How about greater coverage of last night's historic game? 4 hours and 30 minutes, longest time-wise for a 9-inning game in the history of the National League. 101 plate appearances. The 2 teams had 30 hits. They hit 357 combined. 28 runners left on base. The guys are talking about that. 16 pitchers used. 381 pitches thrown in the game. And you know what, Drew? There was not a 1-2-3 inning in last night's game. That's why I'm currently sitting down after having stood up for the game last night with Spilly.
There are so many notes on that board that you kind of just pass over because there's so many other prominent notes. Like a game with 2 balks, that's really unusual.
6 steals for a team, 7 in the game.
Yeah, 6 steals,
5
3
intentional walks,
5 intentional, 3 wild pitches. Crazy, crazy, crazy stuff, and makes it that much more difficult when you lose, especially when you were down 8-3 and you come back and place is jumping. You're up 9-8.
It really was a roller coaster of emotions last night. You were joking about the 2 balks. Yeah, there were 7 balks called last night in baseball.
(3-0) on Drury leading off, the 7-hole hitter. Game began with Gene Segura walking on 5 pitches, and then he would tag on a deep fly by Bourne and score on a Goldschmidt base hit up the middle. And that's a 4-pitch walk to Drury. And the ball coming back at De La Rosa. He wasn't looking. And now Descalso's going to go get it. What is going on? Tony Walters, the pitch was a ball. He's flipping it back to Jorge, and he wasn't, I don't know where he was looking.
Might have been frustrated that the 3-0 pitch wasn't called a strike. Didn't look back. Alan Porter's behind the plate today. See, took a borderline pitch. Sometimes the zone gets bigger, 3-0. Yeah, I don't know.
Whatever the reason, again, coming off of last night, it just doesn't look good.
It doesn't look great. When you just bounce back, Charlie Blackmon lead off home run, ties it up, and then he come right back to walking the first guy.
Ahmed tried to ambush De La Rosa, fired at that first pitch, and he fouled it off. Ahmed hitting .211, but against the Rockies in his career, he's hit .320.
De La Rosa's already had 29 pitches, and for the Rockies, they need to get some length out of De La Rosa today.
Get that while it's foul. Oh, careful. Walters almost ran over Nolan. Rockies made a roster move earlier with the bullpen being utilized as much as it was on both sides. In fact, both teams made a move today. Miguel Castro, who's been struggling, optioned back to Albuquerque. Johan Flande was added to the 40-man roster. He had been removed from it earlier in the year. Gives the Rockies a long man in that bullpen. Arizona used every single guy in their pen yesterday.
Well, and Chip Hale said that Robbie Ray is scheduled to throw a bullpen today, will not throw it just in case he has to be used in today's game.
Foul tip, and that's a strikeout. And that'll bring up Shelby Miller with 1 out. Diamondbacks recalled Silvino Bracho from AAA Reno after the game. Zach Godley was optioned to Reno. So they have a guy with a quote-unquote fresher arm. Miller will be bunting, and that's a good bunt.
Excellent bunt. Textbook.
Five-4 on the sac bunt with 2 outs. That'll bring up Segura, who's second in the National League in hits, to Daniel Murphy. Start talking more and more about the All-Star game this time of year, naturally, and guys that are deserving, or at the very least deserving, of being in serious consideration. And for Arizona, the 3 names that jump out at you are Gene Segura, Paul Goldschmidt, now that he's torn the cover off the baseball the last month and a half or so. And also, and you wouldn't have thought this early on, but Zach Greinke deserves to be in that conversation with 10 wins.
Segura started hot for the Arizona Diamondbacks in the last 14 games, .382 batting average. He's 18 for 49. Drew already mentioned 4 for 11 on the series right now against the Rocks. He's been playing great defense at shortstop as well. He's a good player.
He is a good player.
When the Diamondbacks traded Chase Anderson, who I thought was an underrated good starter, for Gene Segura, scratch my head a bit.
There's some guys, and you remember when you were playing, there are guys, Reggie Sanders, a name always comes to mind for me. Mike Cameron, another name. Guys you go, man, really good player, good teammate, great in the clubhouse, and they play for a multitude of teams. You always wonder, well, how is that? Why?
People want him.
Well, people want him, but why would you want to get rid of a guy like that? And You know, Segura now on his third team. Three and one on Segura. 36 pitches for De La Rosa. And another walk. That's 3 walks allowed by De La Rosa. And potentially a pitch around with first base unoccupied and a left-handed batter coming up in Michael Bourne.
Every Sunday home game this season is Bike to the Game, including tomorrow, June 26th. Get more info at rockies.com/green. Looks like I'm biking to the game tomorrow.
You have that tandem bike, right?
Yep. Yeah. But since you're not going to, I'll use the unicycle.
Have you ever been, seriously, have you ever been on a unicycle?
Yes, one time.
Did you get hurt?
Nope.
Did you stay up for more than 1 second?
You would laugh at parks in Japan. They have it set up where you can rent unicycles in practice. No joke.
And you did that?
Yes.
Kind of a when in Rome thing, right?
Exactly.
There's a strike on Bourne, 1-1. So did you get proficient? Were you able to stay up, or it's impossible?
Well, you're holding the, I was holding the rails the whole time.
Oh, you were?
Yeah. But it's an awkward feeling.
I've seen you on a normal bike. It seems awkward for us watching you. So with one wheel, can't imagine.
Yeah,
low-hanging fruit.
Low-hanging fruit. Just knock it out of the park.
Yeah, okay. Put it on the tape. Outside, 2-1 on Bourne. What are you seeing from De La Rosa?
Again, it's all about fastball command for him, and even though he's close to the strike zone, Alan Porter is being a little bit tight with the zone. You can see the frustration from De La Rosa in the last at bat with Segura. Michael Bourne has strange splits this year. 314 batting average against lefties. 208 against righties. My assumption is that left-handed versus left-handed pitchers, he can keep his shoulder in.
Strikeout of Bourne. So 2 walks, 2 left on. We'll go to the bottom of the second. The Rockies won and the Diamondbacks won.
Shelby Miller, who has struggled his last 6 starts facing the Rockies with a 6.6 ERA, was in Denver yesterday and decided to get a little Macklemore undercut. Well, it didn't turn out so well. When he showed up to the ballpark yesterday, his teammates had the best time ever laughing at it. And so this morning he had to get it shaved because it was so bad that the guys were just going, you cannot pitch with your hair looking like that.
Segura will throw out Descalso.
This is the haircut he was trying to go with. It's Macklemore on the left, the rapper. What do you know about rocking the wolf on your noggin? And there's Shelby Miller on the right, not Macklemore. There's the haircut in question. And as Zach Greinke was walking by this morning, I asked him, I said, hey, let me ask you a quick question about Shelby Miller's hair. And he smiled. How does he look? And he walked by and he goes, a lot better today than he did yesterday.
Barnes gets tied up 0-1. In your career,
many bad haircuts, yes.
I know that because I see you quite a bit, but I mean, did in the minor leagues or in the big leagues or in Japan, did you ever get a haircut from one of your teammates? Two outs.
No, but no, I've never had a haircut from a teammate. But teammates do. We sometimes our neck hairs get long, you know, when you haven't had a haircut for a long time, and so I've trimmed other teammates' neck hairs, and for some of my former teammates, some of the neck hairs kind of roll into the back hairs and kind of help them out on that too.
Tony Walters at the plate. Helton once, because he always had shears with him, as you know, volunteered to, because I was saying I needed a haircut, and he volunteered gladly to cut my hair, and I, not even politely, declined. I said, there's no way. How smart was I?
You got to get in touch with your inner teammate. I mean, there's things that are sacred and not sacred, and you know, getting a haircut from a teammate or trimming up the guy's back.
Now we've moved from the neckline to the back, huh?
Yeah.
Okay. 2 strikes on Walters with 2 outs. And Tony back up the middle. Segura looks like a juggler right now. That'll be a hit. And that'll clear De La Rosa here in the second.
And that's Tony Walters' first hit since coming off the disabled list. He was 0 for 11, hitting the ball right up the middle. Shelby Miller just misses it. Gene Segura off the heel of his glove. Let's see right where it hits up on that heel.
But watch this. This is where it gets fun. Watch Gene. Grab it. Whoop, pops out again. Hold up. And play a little volleyball with it. See, he could ride a unicycle.
And juggle.
And juggle at the same time, right. De La Rosa on the ground to Drury. 2 innings complete. We're tied at 1 as we go to the 3rd at Coors Field on a very pretty Saturday afternoon. Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by the 2016 Toyota Tundra and your hometown Toyota stores, and by Southwest Airlines. Transparency, low fares, nothing to hide. Oh, the Brew Fest going on. That was earlier today at Coors Field. We do better with the Brew Fest after.
Not before.
Not before.
I'm a big IPA guy. I'm liking all these different Colorado breweries.
There's so many good micro
and I try them all.
breweries in the state.
And I try them all.
Good for you. Goldschmidt's going to lead off. Paul had a base hit up the middle on the ground that drove in Gene Segura for the only Arizona run. Hitting .418 over his last 17 coming in, and that pitch is at the bottom of the zone, a strike. Well, the Diamondbacks have caught fire. They've won 10 of 13, and they're enjoying a tremendous road trip. They are 7-1 on a trip that began in Philadelphia, took them through Toronto. Blue Jays are coming here beginning Monday. Chip Hale. Fiery competitor. Good guy. Remember early in the season there were a couple occasions where Chip made some of the national highlight shows with some outbursts, but he was frustrated with the way the Diamondbacks started.
He's definitely changed the culture for the Diamondbacks. He's a player with the Mariners, played some with the Dodgers, went to U of A. The U of A baseball team in College World Series right now, winning 5-1. Taking on Josh Holliday, the Matt Holliday's brothers, Oklahoma State. Brian Jones, Rockies video coordinator, I'm sure is paying attention to that game.
So Josh's done a really good job in Stillwater. Swung on and missed. So De La Rosa, a couple starts in a row where he hadn't racked up the strikeouts like he was doing earlier in the year. And today, that is already number 5.
You just watch the bottom drop out of that. That's what makes his changeup so effective to a guy like Paul Goldschmidt, that if you miss in the strike zone, he'll hit it. Great downward depth, good arm motion, which sells the off-speed pitch.
Here's Yasmani Tomas. Remember they were really frustrated with Tomas last year. It seemed like he was just hitting everything to the right side, and there wasn't much power. This is slowly hit to third. Nolan is so smart. You know, if that was a guy with plus speed, Nolan would have grabbed that with his bare hand, but he knew who was running. Said, all right, I have time to make the transfer. That's an easy play, 5-3.
You can see Walter's reaction. He looks up, he thought it was a foul ball, and watched Nolan coming in nice and quick. That glove that you were talking about. Gloves it and makes a quick turn.
Wellington Castillo at the plate, a single. His first time. That's outside. See, this is what happens. I want to explain, folks, to you what happens to a former professional athlete. They retire and they just let everything go to blank in a handbasket. Dougie was nice enough to run down to the dining room and he got us a snack. All right. This ball's up the middle, a base hit. So with 2 outs, Castillo aboard. So Dougie brought me my usual fruit. I like a lot of pineapple.
That's going to take 5 minutes.
And then I saw, that's okay. And then I saw this white bag for Spilly. I'm like, oh, Spilly, what did Spilly get? I may want to dabble. He has 37. Can you see in there? I'll take one.
They're Oreos.
He has 37 Oreos.
There's other people in here.
So no, stop. I've seen you. So once you retire, you don't care anymore, do you?
I never really did care, but now I care a lot less.
Ground ball to third. Nolan's got it, and that's all. Good inning for De La Rosa. Castillo left aboard. Middle of 3. 1-1. Of the third, top of the order for the Rockies, Charlie Blackmon. Here's what Charlie did in the first inning against Shelby Miller. Inside heater, he dropped the barrel on it. Hit it 409 feet inside the foul pole of the second deck. Got everybody out of their seats. Home run number 11 for Chuck Nasty. And he takes a strike. Remember, he had the turf toe early in the season. Since he's come off, 53 games, 313 average. What I like, I mean, there's nothing on that graphic not to like. 377 on base percentage, which is outstanding for a leadoff man. Look at the slugging percentage. Just a leadoff guy with a middle of the order slugging percentage. His OPS around 900.
Unbelievable. That was his 5th leadoff home run. He's still one behind Jose Altuve with the Houston Astros and Curtis Granderson with the New York Mets. They both have 6.
One and 2 on Charlie. And the foul tip was held, so a strikeout. That's the second strikeout for Shelby Miller. That'll bring up LeMahieu. DJ had a base hit his first time up and then was caught stealing. Left early and Shelby Miller stepped off and got him in a rundown. Fans, if the Rockies score 7 runs or more as they did last night, go to participating Colorado Taco Bell locations the next day. Do it between 4 and 6 to receive your Rockies taco special. Lift Boss at Taco Bell. That's high, ball 1 on the Rockies second baseman. The Rockies need a win today and get themselves turned around, and still an opportunity to have a real strong homestand. And Segura is going to get LeMahieu. This is game 3 of a 7-game homestand before the Rockies head west. With 2 outs, that'll bring up Nolan Arenado.
I just still can't get over the last 3 heartbreaking losses. And again, I like trying to look at things in positive light, but those 3 losses, the Rockies win those 3 games. They're 37 and 36 right now. They're 1 game over 500.
Woulda, coulda, shoulda. It's oftentimes a dangerous place to go, or a place that'll break your heart. 7-pitch inning for Miller.
Diamondbacks and the Rockies. Want to show you the first pitch today. It was special because Jake Cohen got out on the hill, the lefty, the big lefty, and he fired it into another lefty to Tyler Anderson. And I'm here with Jake. And Jake, that was an awesome event, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was amazing.
So you're up there on the hill. I know you know that Tyler Anderson's catching you, right? You met him. So what did he say to you? Did he give you some advice?
I didn't really get to talk to him. He went out to catch the ball, and he whistled, so I knew where to throw it. And I went up to him, and he gave me the ball back. So, quick meeting, but.
So pretty cool. You're a cancer survivor, and you get out there and throw out the first pitch.
Yep.
Tell me about baseball and your love for the game.
Oh, losing my sight, it's hard to follow sports, but I use apps on my phone to follow the Rockies, and I'm following them all season this year.
Well, I saw that throw, so I know that you got something on. I was down there, and even Justin Miller and some of the guys at the bullpen were like, you got to watch this. This kid is going to throw this from the hill. You work at a baseball card shop?
I do not, no.
Oh, I heard you worked at a memorabilia place or something. Or you're into it.
I'm into it, but I don't.
So what's your favorite piece of memorabilia? You got one?
I don't think I have one. I have a lot of. Yeah.
You know what I think you should do from here on in? Just get the video of you throwing out the first pitch. You ought to autograph that for everybody else, you know? And you got that ball. I think today's ball is probably a cool thing.
Oh, yeah.
Jake, thanks for talking to us. That was awesome to see you on the hill.
No problem.
Thanks. Guys?
Mark, special young man. That was wild, because Billy and I were sitting here watching, and he basically threw a strike to Tyler Anderson. That's awesome.
You always get a big boost whenever you see somebody going through something like that. And even though it seems like a first pitch to open up the game, like, it doesn't mean a lot to some people that aren't paying attention to the game, but it means a lot to the person throwing it. And a lot of times, as players, we pay attention because we know it means something to someone.
Good for you guys, because I think a lot of times you get conditioned. You're seeing, there it is again. You're seeing people throw out a first pitch all the time. There's a myriad of reasons they get that honor, and for Jake, a guy who's battled and defeated cancer and enjoying the sounds of the ballpark today. He's a big collector, as Mark derived from him. But that's awesome that you can share that. Where, when you start feeling sorry for yourself as a professional athlete, man, I'm one for my last 12 and I'm fatigued, and all of a sudden you watch that.
Yeah, exactly.
To your point, man, it gives you a bounce in the step again, doesn't it?
And you end up applauding and you get fired up. You're all right, let's go.
3-2 on Drury, and a ground ball to Descalso. That's a good little play there by Daniels. Then had to smother it. He's the only guy on that right side. One out as we take a look at our Lowe's home field advantage. With Nick Ahmed coming up. De La Rosa gets the Diamondbacks. We were exploring this earlier. So on the road he has struggled, but here at home, 8-1 with a 1.98 ERA. And the Diamondbacks historically have hit under 200 at Coors Field, and that kind of mirrors Jorge De La Rosa at 20th at Blake.
It's unbelievable. And De La Rosa at home this year, 222 batting average, on the road, 368, to your point. Nick Ahmed started the season off 4 for 27 with a 148 batting average against left-handed pitchers, and since then he's 15 for his last 46.
And that'll get through the right side, a base hit for the former UConn star. Saw this last night it was retweeted by Jeff Houston's oldest son, Kyle, who had a great career playing for the UConn Huskies in hockey. And one of Kyle's teammates went the first round last night of the NHL draft.
Really?
And now UConn, I hope I get all the sports, has had a #1 pick, obviously in the NBA, in the WNBA. That's obvious also, even maybe more so than the men's side, as great a program as they have under Gino Auriemma. This is off his foot, foul ball. A #1 pick in the NFL, a #1 pick in hockey in the NHL. So I had NBA, WNBA, NFL, NHL, and first round picks in Major League Baseball. Isn't that something? You're thinking of the Gauchos right now, aren't
I'm trying to think of all the players on UConn, seeing if I can name them, and Do not want to embarrass myself. It's like Richard Jefferson, Rip Hamilton. Was that one of the first rounders for the NBA?
Yeah. Well, they've had a lot in basketball.
UConn was George Springer. Was he a first rounder?
Springer was a #1. Who was the kid? Forgetting right now. Out of UConn, another big leaguer who was one of the top prospects in baseball. Kyle Houston, who's also one of our interns. If you're listening, tweet me, text me, help us out.
Give us all the first rounders. I want to know the names.
Dougie's going to work on it.
I can assume there's probably not many college programs that have that honor.
Well, because when you include the WNBA and then the NHL really, you know, Oklahoma's not going to be on there. Nebraska's not going to be on there.
And I don't remember Pac-12 schools or Big West schools having.
Shelby Miller with a base hit through the left side, and going first to third is Ahmed. First and third, Gene Segura coming up, just one out.
Well, 2 strikes. Miller puts the ball in play after missing a bunt attempt and puts it right in that 5.5 hole. Do you see Trevor Story? Not sure if he's going to slide to backhand or full-on layout. Ball was in between. Gets the short hop, and yeah, first and third with Gene Segura at the plate now.
Oh, you know it, and Kyle just updated for us. I missed 2 other leagues. They've had a first rounder in the MLS.
Wow.
They've had a first rounder in the CFL, the Canadian Football League. Two and 0. You can see that De La Rosa is being very cautious with Segura. He walked him leading off the game. That was not his intent. In the second inning, he pitched around him with first base open. Now, first base not open here. It's first and third. 2-0. And it's 3-0. One of the reasons De La Rosa has won 97 games in his career is he'll give up hits, he'll walk guys, we know that, but he works out of trouble, he minimizes damage. He's in one of those situations right now. Three and 1. There have been 6 baseball players drafted in the first round out of UConn, by the way. And they had one a couple weeks ago. Anthony Kay, left-handed pitcher, went in the first round. And now they're loaded. Loaded up for Michael Bourne. Most famous, Charles Nagy, 1988.
Good pitcher.
That is 4 walks allowed. 3 of the 4 to Segura. Bases loaded. Michael Bourne coming up. Obviously a very difficult man to double up.
Well, season high walks for Jorge De La Rosa came in the second start of the season against the Padres, where he had 5 in 4 innings. So far, the one walk to Gene Segura in the first inning has come around to bite him.
This is lifted foul, and it'll drift out of play.
I love the effort Trevor Story gives every day. He just went 100% from shortstop, considering himself probably thinking about, am I gonna dive into the stands for this? He would have.
always go back to these guys who play, guys like yourself who get to this level, ridiculously gifted, have worked ridiculously hard. Here's the 0-1. That's back up the middle. This could be 2. Right on the bag, double play. That's about the only place Bourne can hit it where you're going to turn 2 on him.
He just ran 120 feet to try to get a foul ball, and he makes a play right after it.
We'll talk more about Trevor's story and effort guys and different, in addition to talented guys. 1-1 it remains. Fourth inning, De La Rosa did a nice job working out of that. Got the double play ground ball off the bat of Michael Bourne. 1-1. Cargo is going to lead it off. Then Story and Descalso. I was starting to talk to you, Spilly, about anybody that gets to this level, how hard they had to work and ridiculously talented, etc. But there are some guys that really like to play, and there are other guys that love to play. Am I right?
You're 100% right. And giving 100% effort every single game after long road trips, late plane flights, back-breaking losses, and you still give the effort on foul balls. You have to appreciate it.
Absolutely, absolutely. And not to slight anybody else, but we're kind of conversing about guys going in the stands, and Trevor would have kept going. We've seen Nolan go in the stands, make circus grabs. Those guys absolutely love to play. I put Cargo in that class. Yeah. Cargo has so much talent, but we see him diving. If you've noticed this year, there hasn't been one time where I've seen Cargo, and he should be able to get away with not always, on a routine ground ball, say to second, going 75% because you don't want to see him pull a hamstring. Cargo's running up the line like it's a 60-yard dash in an open tryout.
There's two different things when you look at effort. You call it eyewash, effort just to show everybody that you're putting effort, and false hustle. It's the occasional, hey, I'm just going to run really hard. Take a look. It's the same thing as eyewash. But when you play the game hard because you understand the situation and you realize what it's doing for your teammates, whether it's breaking up a double play, or chasing after a ball that potentially might go foul, but you don't know, that's real effort, and that should always be applauded.
5 in a row retired by Shelby Miller. Here comes Story.
Well, Drew, the last inning, the third inning that the Rockies were up, Shelby Miller had a 1-2-3 inning. That was the first 1-2-3 half inning since Thursday in the 9th inning. It was 23 half innings that we had not seen a clean 1-2-3 inning.
And yet Arizona has won both ball games in this series. Rockies
with 23 runs over their last 3 games, which, you know, every manager in baseball would raise their hand and sign up for 23 runs over 3 games, basically 8 runs a game. And the Rockies have not won any of those. Good Saturday crowd at Coors Field. Story drives this ball to right center field, and with his speed, he's going to easily have a double now that it gets to the wall. Well, some of the balls he hits, Billy, are cargo-esque.
And it's opposite field how hard he hits it. Line drive over the second baseman, that one hops the wall. You look at the location of the pitch, down and away, that's where they've been trying to attack Trevor Story. See the great bat path, slight uppercut. Just drills it in the gap. Has Manny Tomas to go play chase, and I just love the side swing. Anytime you see a guy in his legs, that's always important. If you're at home watching a game and you're trying to figure out, how do I increase my bat speed? Is it how hard my upper body swings? The answer is no. It starts with your legs.
Here's Descalso. See if the Rockies can take the lead. With that double by Trevor Story, he retakes the lead in extra base hits in the National League. He has 40 of them. He was in a 3-way tie at the beginning of the day with his teammate Nolan Arenado and also Jay Bruce of Cincinnati. And right behind Bruce, Adam Duvall. Those 2 guys have had nice years for the Reds. Somewhat quietly. Trevor on top again. This ball line to left base hit. Around third, and coming home is Story. Descalso comes through. And the Rockies take a 2-1 lead. Nice piece of hitting there by Daniel.
Well, back-to-back great at-bats. Both guys going opposite field. Trevor Story, great read at second base. It's a line drive. Sometimes you'll see guys just freeze. As soon as it's hit off the bat, Trevor Story is moving. Stu Cole continues to just wave that left arm, send him home. Watch the reaction. He reads it right off the bat. You ever want to know the difference between a minor league guy and a big league guy? Sometimes the biggest difference you can see is in base running.
Brandon Barnes at the plate. I really enjoy watching Trevor Story run the bases. And he can pick him up and put him down now.
So athletic.
He's so athletic. And there are certain guys, the way they run, they look like they have had sprinter training. You know, the hands coming up cheek to cheek, as they say,
yeah,
in the track world. He has a really good looking stride. Barnes takes a strike. Brandon hit the ball in the air to Bourne in center his first time up. Brandon 1 for 5 last night. Also had a stolen base. The Barnyard. Great nickname.
It's a great nickname. He's going no batting gloves today.
Notice that. And this is on one hop and eats up Segura. And a good read by Descalso. He'll go to third. Well, last night it was Jake Lamb having issues defensively, and today it looks like it's Gene Segura for Arizona.
Well, this ball seems to eat up Segura. That's going to be a tough play in between hop. Not routine, even though he's spinning, trying like he's setting up for the double play. Descalso reading the ball, thinking double play ball, and then as soon as he sees it kick off, goes first to third. Brandon Barnes is going to get rewarded with the base hit. Go no batting gloves, you get rewarded right after a base hit.
That's the way it works. Got a bat handler at the plate, Tony Walters. 1 out, runners on the corners. Descalso, decent speed at third. Barnes runs well at first.
And there's the squeeze, and it's pushed foul. It was a safety squeeze, and I thought that Walt may put that on. It's one of his favorite plays, the safety squeeze.
Well, and with the Diamondbacks infield and Brandon Drury playing third base last night, it was Jake Lamb. Drury has started in 4 different spots on the field for the Diamondbacks: left field, right field, second base, and third base. And like Yasmani Tomas, they're not quite sure where his position is, and the Rockies would like to take advantage of that.
Plays hitter really well, though.
He's a great hitter.
One and one on Walters. Had an infield hit. And up the middle that Segura tried to backhand his first plate appearance in the second.
I'm never really a fan of the 8-hole hitter putting a bunt down with the pitcher on deck, unless it is one of those squeeze plays that's going to make sure you get the run in.
Runner going, and it's a base hit to left. Come on down to Scalzo. Barnes, he gets a green light. He's coming home. The throw is going to get him. O'Brien on one hop cuts down Barnes, who is trying to score from first. He was going on the pitch, and I think given the Rockies are already up 2 runs, it was a good gamble to take by Stu Cole.
There's a little bit of hesitation between both Barnes and Stu Cole at third base. Barnes was not breaking stride. You can see this ball just out of the reach of Drury. Brandon Barnes running hard, as you mentioned. It was a hit and run. Here's where he has a little hesitation. You see the stop. Just the stop. Makes him out at first. You can see he's thinking scoring. Having to start up again.
Well, they're going to take a look at that.
They should. Right hand, I think, sneaks in there.
And thankfully, the barnyard didn't get hurt there. That is really dangerous. You're watching the catcher drop a shin guard here.
Well, he might have snuck in there.
Yeah. We have other angles of this. I think that'll give us a better look. Boy, can we slow that one down? Can we go back and slow that one down frame by frame? This one's hard to see the plate. Can't see if there's contact with the glove and the hand's on the plate. This is going to be your best one, I think. I think he's safe.
I do too. There's another camera angle they're showing at Coors Field on the scoreboard where it shows Wellington Castillo tags him in the shoulder. It's in the right shoulder, but Barnyard's right arm is fully extended. It may have touched the plate right before Castillo's able to touch the shoulder. And 4 years ago, Brandon Barnes would have ran right through Wellington Castillo, and that's one of those plays where you're happy that you don't have the home plate collisions, but at the same time, it's one of those plays where maybe he's able to jar the ball out of the catcher's glove.
Oh, look at this. Slow.
I think he's safe
I think he's safe. You're 100% right on your former teammate, and that is that he would have blown up Wellington Castillo a couple of years ago. Barnes was a Division I football recruit coming out of high school as a safety. So there's absolute, and if you know Brandon, there's no doubt, and he's safe.
Sweet. He's happy he didn't have to go Ronnie Lott John Lynch on Wellington Castillo right there.
2 ribbies for Walters, and he's at second base. Still just 1 out.
Walters 2 for 2 today. He's 0 for 11 since coming off the disabled list.
Good for Tony. Blake Doyle pumped up. There's no better feeling, Spilly, I would imagine, for a part-time player. And in the case of Barnes and Walters, you know, they get their spot starts here and there, to be able to contribute, especially on the offensive end. 2 guys better known for their defense.
And you're right. Any opportunity you get at the major league level to play, you're excited. But you want to help the team win. You want to prove to Walt that as a bench guy, and think of Christian Adames last night, it was only his 8th start of the season, of the entire year.
Christian threw out a nice ball game last night.
Had a great ball game, played unbelievable defense. He is so underrated as a bench player. Switch hitter, he can do so many things well. And Walt was mentioning in the press conference today, there will be a time and place where that guy will get more opportunities to play the game.
I always say this, the thing he brings to the ballpark every day, great hands defensively, and a beautiful smile. He's a great kid. Off the plate on De La Rosa, 1-2. Orioles knocked in some runs this year. See if he can throw out a base hit here. Miller had been cruising along, and then Story's double to right center, followed by Descalso's line shot to left, got the Rockies a run. And then Barnes with a hard shot that ate up Segura, and Walters on a hit and run, serving it to left. 4 straight hits. De La Rosa takes a much better hack than he did earlier in his career. Some guys go the other way. De La Rosa's gotten better with the hack.
He's gotten better, 2 for 4 in day games this year. He's got 3 RBIs.
Look out to the natural light.
Amazing. Shelby Miller was an all-star last year, had a 1.25 whip, walks, hits per innings pitched, ballooned up to 1.74 this season. And you look at the ERA and all those different things, it's the walks per 9. He's at nearly 5.5. 2 walks more than he's ever thrown.
He gets the strikeout at 94. 2 outs, and that'll bring up Blackman.
Fans, the first 20,000 through the gates this Sunday will receive a stroke awareness beverage wrap, courtesy of Strikeout Stroke. That's tomorrow.
Four to 1 the score, as Blackman will try to drive in another. He had a home run back in the first, struck out swinging in the third. Tony Walters at second base. Alan Porter says that's a strike.
Watch this, Drew. They're on a 15-second delay, and when he sees himself, he's going to go crazy. This is real time right here. Him taking a selfie of this. There you are.
That is funny. Hey, it's us.
Isn't that amazing? We're on TV. Yeah.
We're on the magic box.
It was like, what? But it's not. We're not at the same time.
How did that happen? 2-1. It's like a modern version of candid camera.
Yeah, it's great.
Charlie didn't like that call. He thought it was high and away, I believe. 2-2. But it was in the zone, in the Subaru strike zone.
Foul balls and people getting put on television. That's where you can see true character.
Unadulterated enthusiasm, right?
Yep.
2-2 on Chuck Nasty. And this is foul ground. What an effort. Drury laid out. Fortunately, he was not able to catch it, which will give Blackman another chance.
Foul balls have magic in them. See him? He's trying to get one.
I see what you're talking about.
See? They go crazy for foul balls. Brandon Drury's going after it. What an effort.
Rockies 4 runs on 8 hits, a run on 5 hits for Arizona. Rockies hitting here in the bottom of the 4th. And this one's popped up and it will be playable. Goldschmidt makes the catch in the inning. 4 straight hits, produced 3 runs for the Rockies. 4-1 as we go to the 5th. Colorado. Colorado Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Subaru. Love, it's what makes a Subaru a Subaru. Sloan's Lake on the north side of Denver. 4-1 Rockies leading. And today, one of the days of the Wives Charity Basket giveaway. And well, it's not a giveaway because people are contributing money and we greatly appreciate that. A ton of money raised each year for the Rockies Charity Fund. And thanks to all the wives who are partaking. That thing has grown tremendously the last few years. Jason Mott's better half was on with you guys last night.
She was great.
She's got to be great. She's got to put up with Jason, right?
And she's pregnant. She's going to have a a surprise baby in August. They don't know if it's a boy or girl.
Paul Goldschmidt 1 for 2. De La Rosa's ahead of Goldschmidt 0-2. RBI single in the first, and now Goldschmidt has reached in 47 straight against the Rockies. Did you ask Jason's wife about Jason's imaginary friend Stan?
She said he was way more animated in the minor leagues than he is now.
But he's sedate now?
Yeah, something like that.
2-2. Walters thought he was playing shortstop again.
And he can. It's an important inning for De La Rosa. You'd like to see a clean half inning. That's 75 pitches right now.
Yeah, especially where you are in the lineup. You're right in the middle portion of the Arizona lineup. It's staked to a 3-run lead. 3-2. Going to get him on a fly ball to center field. That'll bring up Yasmani Tomas. How about this? In Chicago, on the south side, the Blue Jays will be in town on Monday. Beat the White Sox 10-8, but that's not the story. The story is that the White Sox hit 7 home runs and lost. It's only the 3rd time in Major League history that that's occurred. How'd we do today, folks? Oh, man, we were great. We hit 7 bombs. Oh, good. What'd you win by? We did.
Lost by 2.
De La Rosa ready, 1-0 on Tomas. 1 ball, 1 strike on Tomas.
Toronto only hit 1 home run in their game.
I'm going to look that box score up right now. One and two. Tomas hitting .457 in his young big league career against the Rockies. Against everybody else, he's hitting .254. Kind of played out that way last night, didn't it?
Really did. You're hoping that Tomas in the 8th spot would have no effect on the game, and in fact, he hurt the Rockies probably worse than any 8-hole hitters has this season.
Takes that pitch. It's 2-2. Tulowitzki, if you're wondering, was 2 for 5 in that game. Drove in a couple runs. Troy off the disabled list. Average at just .217, but if you follow baseball, you know he got off to just a horrendous start.
He changed his swing this offseason, going to a leg kick.
He 86'd it like 2 days into the season.
Yeah, he spent so much time with Josh Donaldson. He's trying to incorporate some of the things that he did, and Tomas works the walk.
That's a bad walk. You were ahead. There's nobody on base. You're up 3 runs. And that's walk number 5 allowed by De La Rosa.
Even with Paul Goldschmidt flying out to center field, he had Goldie 0-2. Goldie worked back to 3-2 count. .83 pitches now for Jorge.
Castillo, a couple of base hits in the game. Somebody texted me with Toronto coming back to town. Or excuse me, I tweeted me. I have to get the terminology right. What kind of, that's fouled off. What kind of reception do you expect the fans to give Tulowitzki? It's an interesting question. I've started to think about it now with Troy coming back on Monday.
I can't see why they would do anything but cheer. I know there's a lot of
I would agree with that, because he provided so many great thrills for fans here, going all the way back to the World Series year, and so many big hits. And if people are upset that he missed a lot of games the last few years, it was not for lack of effort or lack of desire to be on the field. You're hurt, you're hurt. And I would hope that he gets a great ovation when he comes back. When guys move, doesn't mean they become mortal enemies. 3-2. Jorge has walked 5. And he has 7 3-ball counts today. Maybe better than anybody I've seen in a while. Jorge can do that, and then you look up on the board and say, well, the other team only has 1 run.
Exactly.
Not many guys can do that.
No, not a lot. And I'm curious how many pitches Walt's going to let De La Rosa throw. Last night, the bullpen was taxed. A lot of guys have been used. Estevez has thrown nearly 100 pitches this week. You make the move to bring Johan Flande up, who's your long guy. 102 pitches against the Giants was the most pitches he's thrown in this season. And when you get moved to the bullpen, you don't get stretched out.
Well, I would think short of somewhere 97, 98 pitches, and he's at 88 right now, 89. I would think De La Rosa will come back out for the 6th inning. Now, if this thing gets extended and he ends up throwing 100, 101 here, then it's unlikely. And this is off the end of the bat, and it's going to drop. Look, the classic deke, when you have a runner going first to third, the outfielders, whether it be right or center, places you played a lot, center, throw it over the hat of the shortstop, and the shortstop has to deke the trail runner. And it was done well by Blackman. It was done very well on the deke by Story to make sure that runner doesn't move from rounding first to second and puts on the brakes.
And that's the difficulty about playing at Coors Field, because the outfield is so big that your throw is longer. You have to make a longer throw, and in order to make a longer throw, if you don't have the same arm speed, you see the changeup thrown by De La Rosa right off the end of the bat. When you're in the outfield, you have to make a higher throw at Coors Field in order to get the ball in.
This ball clubbed, and it is a foul ball.
Here's what we're talking about. So Charlie Blackman, it's a great read by Tomas, knowing that this is going to fall in front of him. Blackman's going to have to make a higher throw because of the distance he has to throw in. And when you throw the ball over the infielder, you have to make it look like he's going to potentially catch it, so the guy on first doesn't take the extra base.
Yeah, Story, we didn't have a great look at it, but Story
sold it.
Yeah, he sold it very well. 1 strike on Peter O'Brien. And it's 0-2 on O'Brien. O'Brien a strikeout and a ground ball to third. It's where Jorge typically and today has nibbled a lot. He's ahead 0-2. He's ahead 0-2 on Goldschmidt, who went to 3-2. Head on Tomas 1-2, and he ended up walking him. Here's the 1-2 on Drury. Ground ball to third, should be 2. And there's Jorge doing his thing again. Little traffic. He gets a ground ball double play for the second time in the game. Middle of 5. Rockies leading 4-1.
Lead off. DJ had a double last night. He now has 28 extra base hits. He's demolishing his extra base numbers for a single season, and we're not even at the All-Star break. More power. Walt said it's mechanically driven. I said, what with his mechanics, Walt?
I feel like he's using his backside more, so you know, that allows him to drive the ball. I just think he's growing as a hitter. He understands his swing. He understands the timing, rhythm, and balance throughout the swing. He's very, very in tune to it.
There's a lot going on there, Spilly. You can talk about it. Daniel Murphy is the only second baseman in the NL with more extra base hits. We'll show you a side swing after this first pitch. And you can kind of take people through that, Spilly, as to why that backside is helping him with power and extra base hits.
Well, because the backside, it creates all the power, and you can see it. That's the leg. You want to get in this backside. It's a great spine angle. You can see how the bat path will come straight through the baseball, and that's what allows that power to drive. It creates bat speed. It creates that angle and what we call stay through. Stay through is when you keep the barrel in the zone. And that also allows you to, when you get fooled, you can put the ball in play. When you get beat, the ball's still at an angle where you can shoot the ball opposite field.
You're talking about spine angle, and hitting instructors talk about spine angle a lot. Show us exactly what you mean.
You want to have it so your back is straight up and down. That allows you to rotate a lot better. And here's the spine angle right here, right down the middle. Oops.
Use a different gizmo.
There we go. It's right down the middle. That's what you want to be.
What was that other thing you pushed?
I think it pushed the Death Star.
Did you, when they signed you up for this gig, did they teach you how to use that telestrator?
There's no telestrator 101 or any like advanced placement class or advanced metric class.
Huey didn't sit you down. Ball 4.
Huey sat me down, but it was more to have like the talk.
With the talk?
Yeah.
How'd that go over?
It was great. My eyes glossed over. What do you want me to do with this? Oh yeah, there's the Death Star.
Lead off walk to LeMahieu. And Nolan coming up. Arenado a strikeout and a ground ball to short. Tied for the big league lead in home runs and RBIs, 21 and 62 respectively.
Amazing thing about Nolan with the 21 home runs, there's three other players in baseball. You have Todd Frazier, Adam Duvall. Nolan only has 36 strikeouts. That's half of what these other guys have.
This ball's well hit right center field. Nobody's going to catch this one. It's going to kiss off the wall. Around third, LeMahieu gets a green light. And he will score standing up on the double by Arenado. Make it 5-1. '63 driven in for Nolan.
It's great we get a chance to talk about DJ LeMahieu using his lower half. Nolan's been using it a lot of late. He's been driving the ball opposite field. It's like an off-speed pitch, maybe a changeup that caught too much part of the plate. Nolan's so quick. So quick, uses that lower half. The barrel comes through on top. And DJ just putting him down. Keeping an eye on Stu Cole, who puts himself right there to make sure he knows he's going to go ahead and score.
Cargo double and ground ball to second. RBI out there for Gonzalez. Cargo the previous night, not last night, but 2 nights ago, had a couple opportunities with runners in scoring position. He had the bases loaded deal where he struck out. You know, it's hard to go back to the dugout after that. And then last night to come through, it's kind of the beauty of the game. It will provide you with another opportunity.
And here it is for Cargo after last night. Gets that opportunity, drives it in with the double opposite field. We've seen him hit the ball hard today. That is the beauty of this game. No matter what you did last night, good or bad, you have to go show up the next day and be ready to perform.
This year, lefties are hitting .280. And righties .288 against Shelby Miller. 2-0 on Cargo. Cargo hitting .379 since May 22nd, which is 1 point higher than Paul Goldschmidt has hit during that same time frame. That's the best mark in the National League. Here's that group. DJ's on the list at .354. .5-1 Colorado. Back up the middle, and that's right where the shortstop is, Ahmed. Nolan to third, 1 out. So it's a productive out.
Get to your Rockies dugout store today because it's only the place to get the limited edition Arenado bobblehead series. The countdown is on, so don't miss out.
The field will have to come in, opening up some more space for Trevor Story to deliver. Doubled and scored last inning. Story has 17 ribbies this year against Arizona. View from the rock pile on a pretty Saturday. Bottom of the 5th, the Rockies up 5-1.
Miller has challenged Trevor Story with his four-seam fastball. Shelby Miller, the last at bat to Carlos Gonzalez, was focusing in on the cutters, trying to get it inside under Cargo's hands.
Story came into this ball game with a .939 career ERA in 2 ball games at Coors Field. It's not gone down. And Miller strikes out Story. And now with 2 outs, that'll bring up Descalso.
Those are the at-bats that Trevor Story's going to have to work on. You can't have empty at-bats with the runner at third base with 1 out. He's looking for a pitch up, but he has to make sure he handles the pitches that he's swinging at. You have Shelby Miller on the ropes. As we've seen the last 3 straight days, as many runs as he can possibly get.
Ball 1 on Descalso. Daniel drove in a run and scored a run last inning. '29-year-old from Redwood City, California. And this is in the air to shallow right center. There's a ton of wind up there. And it is caught by Segura. It's not an easy play. Rockies get another run in the inning. Nolan delivering DJ LeMahieu, and it's 5-1 as we go to the 6th. Here's this week's CenturyLink high-speed challenge question. Last year, Charlie Blackmon stole 43 bases. We want to know who holds the Rockies record for most stolen bases in a season. It's one of the 3 following players: Eric Young Sr., Willie Taveras, or Juan Pierre. We want you to vote. I'll tell you the results coming up in a couple of days. Go to @RootSports_RM to cast your vote. In the 6th inning, bottom third of the order against De La Rosa, it'll be Brandon Drury, Nick Abed, and then perhaps a pinch hitter. Would assume there will be a pinch hitter. With the Rockies up 5-1. 95th pitch of the ball game's in there for a strike. Drury has walked and hit a ground ball to first. De La Rosa has allowed 6 hits and he's walked 5. That's 11 base runners in 5 innings, yet he's only given up 1 run. There's a slow hook. 0-2. That's something. It takes Houdini to do that.
And there he is. He's standing on the mound. There's times where you watch De La Rosa and you just want him to pitch to contact. You want those quick, efficient innings. The splitter is such a swing and miss pitch, and it's hard for him to control. That you can understand when he's trying to put away a hitter, how it takes him several pitches to see if he can get someone to bite.
There's Chip Hill. The one thing that may alter Chip's thinking is last night's game in terms of there's 2 outs and nobody on. Miller's only thrown 76 pitches. He may say, I'm going to keep rolling with Miller.
Oh, he's going. Yeah, he's going forever.
Because he used every pitcher in his pen last night. Cole Mentor was warming up. He's not throwing now. He's gotten up a little earlier. Cole Mentor typically gets ready fast. 2-2 on Drury. DJ was on the left side, moves back to where he normally is positioned, and he throws out Drury. And that'll bring up Nick Ahmed. Justin Miller's throwing for the Rockies. Rockies are going to have to be creative late today also. This in all likelihood the final inning for De La Rosa. He's at 99 pitches right now.
You'd like to see a 1-pitch out right here. Because then you have Shelby Miller, the pitcher, on deck. You can hoping you can put him away within 3 pitches, and I'd run him back out if he's at 103 pitches.
Ball and a strike on De La Rosa. Miller on deck. Two balls and a strike. That's 2-2.
Third time through the lineup. Hitters are hitting 385 off Jorge. Only been 1 hit this time through the lineup, third time through.
And a ground ball left side. There's Nolan, and he spins and throws, just showing off. Arenado with a sparkling play, 2 outs.
There's almost a collision between Nolan and Trevor Story. It's hit right between them, and that's how important the communication is. They're starting to really understand their range with each other. You can see Trevor making the attempt, and then Descalso to stay on the bag. Descalso is not a normal first baseman, and for him to be in a spot that he doesn't normally play, does a great job to keep his foot on that base. Last night, Jake Lamb had 3 errors at third base. Nolan's had 1 all season.
And it was a questionable one.
And it was questionable.
It was on a throw from the Cargo in the outfield.
He didn't even make the error,
no,
really.
We could have gone either way. It wasn't a bad throw either. It just one of those balls that skipped a little bit, and the trail runner moved up, and you had to account for it.
I mean, that's incredible.
It is incredible when you're talking about being on the cusp of July, playing the hot corner, and you haven't committed a fielding or throwing error.
Play last night for Jake Lamb, he had 2 errors on 1 play.
0-2. Swung on and missed. De La Rosa with his 107th pitch earns his 6th strikeout of the game as he gets Miller
Rockies leading 5-1. Colorado Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Rockies leading Arizona 5-1. Drew Goodman, Ryan Spielborg's Mark Stout at Coors Field. Game 3 of this 4-game set between Colorado and Arizona. Diamondbacks have won the first 2. The Rockies trying to snap a 3-game losing streak. Brandon Barnes, a base hit and a run scored in the 4th.
No batting gloves.
Worked out well for him last time. Watch him scoring here. He was going on that base hit by Tony Walters. He stopped for a second. Head first slide, called out initially. As we're back live, and he throws out a base hit. And it gets past the left fielder O'Brien. Barnes to third, and Stu Cole will hold him there.
No batting gloves. It's going to be a thing for Barnyard now, I guarantee it. 2 for his last 2, not wearing batting gloves. Put the Rockies in the perfect spot. Being able to tack on extra runs right here. Fastball down and away. Barnes hits him, drops the barrel on it. Short stroke. Keeping his head up, making sure he's got to pay attention if O'Brien's going to field it clean. He does it, does not break stride. Stu's not going to take a chance to get him thrown out at home with nobody out.
Single and a 2-base error on O'Brien. Walters with the infield drawn in. Inside, high, ball 1. Tony 2 ribbies with that base hit in the 4th after the review. Barnes was ruled safe, so Tony's 2 for 2.
Christian Adames on deck. He'll be pitch hitting for De La Rosa.
De La Rosa goes 6 innings despite 5 walks. He gives up just 1 run on 6 hits. He did strike out 6. On Walters.
Tony earlier in the month turned 24. Walters a little over 500 at bats in his career at the AA level prior to this year. He does not have one AB at the AAA level.
I think the Rockies understood with Walters that there was going to be growing pains. Obviously hitting is so important at the major league level, but as a catcher and such a good receiving catcher.
This ball's hit a ton right center field. Did he do it? He did. Home run number 1 for Tony Walters.
Wow. Single, double, triple. Single, double homer. Sorry, Tony. Unbelievable. Gets that pitch 3-1 up in the zone. Back-legged him. Way back. Oh, they're going to give him the cold treatment. That's what you deserve.
Yeah.
Don't touch him. Don't touch him.
Nobody home.
Sorry, bro.
Not again.
Now Brandon Barnes gets it. That's my triple, brother. Well, Tony Walters 3-1 pitch, looking up, and he does not miss it. That's got to feel great. What rhythm and timing that Tony had. Nice separation, gets the hands back, and boom. That's the jog for the first time in the major leagues.
In 6 minor league seasons, Tony hit just 15 home runs. He has his first big league home run. 7-1 Colorado, a 4 RBI ball game for Tony. And it's so good to see smiles after what we were seeing late last night. Christian Adames, you were bragging on him earlier in the ball game when we were recounting the events of last night and how well Christian played in a rare start.
This gives you a quality at bat. And for a player that's only started 8 times this entire season, for what he's able to do, he plays short for you. You can play second, play third, anywhere on the infield, and to still be a quality at bat.
Down the line, just foul. Seven runs, a convenient 11 hits for the Rockies against Shelby Miller. And no cheapie for Tony. We just got the distance on it. 421. It's a big fly.
Hit off that rafter and fell right back down, so he'll have that home run ball for his collection.
His collection of other big league home runs.
For his one home run ball, yeah.
Did you get the silent treatment when you went to the dugout after your first big league home run?
You really don't. I had blanked out. It was in San Diego. I hit it out to center field, and I do not remember.
Segura throws out Adames, 1 out.
Center fielder, number 19, Charlie Blackburn.
Coming up, a reminder that you can go to your participating Taco Bell locations between 4 and 6 tomorrow to get the Rockies Taco Special, because the Rockies have hit the magic number of 7 again. Back-to-back ball games. Let's hope this one continues to be on the proper side of the ledger. Charlie, a home run in the bottom of the first inning. Strikeout and a pop out as well. 1 for 3. Blackman has a 6-game hitting streak going. He's 11 for his last 27 at the plate.
with 4 home runs.
On the flip side, Shelby Miller had 91 pitches, and you look at the set, it's 7 runs. He's giving up 7. Well, Chip Hale's going to leave him out there. He needs to get through this inning. He's saving the bullpen. His teammates will appreciate it at the end of the day.
Charlie hits it in the air to center. Crowd's excited, but it's a routine play out there for Bourne. And that'll bring up LeMahieu next.
Second baseman, number 9, DJ LeMahieu.
Strike on DJ. Been on twice, a single, also a walk, 1 for 2. Two-strike count.
See on the Subaru strike zone that both pitches were in the strike zone. The DJ didn't like the high strike.
And he tied him up there with a fastball for the strikeout. In the inning, Barnes a base hit, and then Tony Walters with his first major league home run. And the Rockies extend their lead to 7-1 at Coors Field. Here's our Kubota pitching performance. Rockies needed a fine performance from De La Rosa. He walked a lot of guys, 5, but in typical De La Rosa fashion, he left a lot on base. He goes 6 innings, allows a run on 6 hits, 6 strikeouts. He got a couple double plays behind him. De La Rosa pitched out a couple of heavy traffic situations. He's on the plus side as we go to the 7th inning. Shelby Miller will take over. Did I say Shelby Miller? Shelby Miller's on Arizona. This would be Justin Miller.
Justin Miller got hot a couple times last night in the game. Did not throw. Him and Gonzalez-Germain, the only Rockies relievers not to throw in last night's game.
Which pretty much guarantees that they'll
both throw today.
They'll both throw today. Segura, Bourne, and Goldschmidt in the 7th inning, the top third of the lineup for Arizona. Arizona's won 10 of their last 13, 7-1 on this road trip. Heavy fastballs inside, 1 ball, 1 strike. Segura walked 3 times against De La Rosa. Inside 2-1.
For some of those of you who think Justin Miller should be fresh since he didn't throw yesterday, the answer is probably false. Thursday he ended up throwing 2 innings against the Diamondbacks. Had to warm up several times, and it does take your toll. They mark down when guys get up to get loose in the bullpen. They consider that effort. So guys, when you look at the sheet, every day the manager has the guys who can throw, who can't throw. They pay attention.
Three balls and a strike on Segura. Come on back. Come on, grab your bat. And Gene was not covering up. And look, he's going to apologize to Alan Porter. And that's why he put his hands up, because you don't want to show up an umpire.
No, because the next pitch, you're guaranteed you better start swinging.
And that's, you know why? That's called strike. Tony Walters steals low pitches better than any catcher I've seen. He's remarkable on lifting subtly a hard sinker. That clearly is a ball, though, and that's 4 walks for Segura. Let's check in with Mark Stout downstairs. Mark, how you doing?
Good, guys. I was talking to Justin Miller about the College World Series. We're into the Final Four now, and Miller won it with Fresno State. And I said, you won that at Rosenblatt. And he was talking about, yeah, I was such a newbie. When I got on the hill, I'm very particular if there's any kind of rocks or little fragments around. And he said he went down and picked one up, and it was a microphone that was there for the broadcast. So he said it was kind of a rude awakening when he was on the hill, but he did win it with Fresno State back in 2008. We'll watch his pitch here.
Segura takes off. Walters throw. He's going to scoot into center field. So it'll be a stolen base for Segura and an E2, allowing Segura to go to third. Well, you don't expect that down by 6 runs for a guy to take off.
No, but the Diamondbacks, and they've shown us in the last couple series that we've seen them, they will not stop. They do not quit. Segura goes first move with Justin Miller, knowing he has a high leg kick.
13th stolen base. Hey, Mark, I'm sorry. Continue that story about Justin Miller and at the College World Series. He picked up a microphone.
Yeah, that was on the mound. He said he was such a newbie, but he won it with Fresno State. Now, you're talking about the Diamondbacks and the way they play hard here.
Boy, this is crushed to right. This is going to get out. Michael Bourne hits a 2-run home run at 7-3. We do not want to revisit what we saw last night.
No, we don't. Well, Michael Bourne hunting fastball. You look at the scoreboard. The scoreboard dictates you're going to get fastballs in this situation, and he does not miss it. See the mislocation. Tony Walters having to reach in to grab it, and he put it right where Michael Bourne likes it. Loud off the bat.
Here's Goldschmidt. All right, well, Tony goes out. Mark, Bourne was very rude to interrupt your story again. But
So the point of it is that Chip Hale, the manager of the Diamondbacks, he also has an NCAA title with Arizona. That was 40 years ago in 1986 when the Wildcats beat Florida State in the championship game at Rosenblatt. You see their final record, 49-19. 30 years ago. Sorry, I'm aging him. He played third base for that team. That was his junior year. So that's why they play hard. He's got, you know, he's a baseball guy through and through.
Well, and his Wildcats are going to be back in the College World Series in the finals. They beat Oklahoma State today. Spoiler alert.
Took a lot to get there, but we got it. We got an odd for you.
Yeah. I guess with the home Bulldog games, they didn't have the microphone buried around the mound at Fresno State. 3-0 now, and the bullpen has been in a rough spot. They've kind of ridden a roller coaster ride this year. Their last 8 ball games. 0-4 with a 7.39 ERA. And they've allowed 8 home runs. The opposition hitting .350 against him. Miller comes in with a 6-run lead. He walks Segura, and then the home run to Bourne. And he's 3-0 on Goldschmidt. It's a strike. I know fans at home, Spill, you're saying, and you didn't pitch. I mean, you pitched, you know, in high school and stuff, but fans are saying, okay, you know, he just threw 2 darts in there. How come you can't do that earlier in the at bat?
It's just because you're trying to nibble, you're trying to make the perfect pitch, and at some point, you know you have to pitch the contact.
And that's a great play by Descalso to steal a hit from Goldschmidt. 1 out. Shelby Miller needed that play in the worst way.
Justin Miller needed that play.
Justin Miller, I'm sorry, I keep calling him Shelby.
And Descalso, just being the quality infielder that he is, he gets in between Hop and smothers it. He's going to do everything he can to keep that ball in front of him. I think DJ was saying something to him. Nice play. Descalso with a smile.
Tomas 0 for 2 and a walk. This is in the air to Charlie. Almost exactly where he's positioned. 2 outs. And with 2 gone, Wellington Castillo will come up. Crowd of 33,337.
Wellington Castillo.
Strike 1 on Castillo. Last year he led all National League catchers in home runs with 18, despite spending sporadic time with the Cubs before, or getting sporadic playing time with the Cubs before moving to Seattle briefly and then on to Arizona. So Justin Miller settles in after a walk and a 2-run home run. 7-3, middle of 7, stretch time at Coors Field.
Great Clip Stylist will be on site Wednesday, June the 29th, providing haircuts and collecting donations for the Colorado Rockies Baseball Club Foundation. They will not shave your back. At least I'm not sure if they will. You can ask. Never hurts to ask.
Never hurts to ask. We go to the bottom of the 7th inning. Nolan Arenado is going to lead it off, and the guy who was just brought back to the big leagues today, Silvino Bracho, is into the ball game for Shelby Miller.
Last year, Bracho, when he showed up to the big leagues, was a strikeout machine. This year, it seems like hitters have figured him out a bit. I'd like to see Nolan get a pitch up in the zone and get one of those runs back. Seen a Nolan home run in a while.
I saw Nolan double his last time up. One hop the wall. RBI double at that. 1 for 3 for Arenado. 63 driven in. Bracho at 94 spins him around.
Bracho was closing games for the Reno Aces this year, 15 saves. He gave up 9 earned runs in 21 innings. They like the arm.
(2-0). That's off the plate. 3-0. Arenado's got a 8-game hitting streak going. Cargo threw out a double in the first inning. 7 runs, 11 hits against Shelby Miller. On the inside edge. Two. And a walk. Nolan building on his new season high in walks, and we're not at the halfway mark yet. 72 games, he's walked 36 times. Maturity and a better definition for you of the strike zone?
He really is, and more importantly, he's not swinging at every single pitch. In years past, he would swing at balls in the strike zone, but he wasn't swinging at his pitch. This year he's swinging a lot less at pitches in the strike zone, meaning that he's looking for his pitch. And as a result, he's not chasing as much, and he's starting to get those walks.
Here's Cargo. Bracho way outside with the off-speed pitch.
As I mentioned before, there's 3 other players with 21 home runs, same as Nolan. Mark Trumbo has 81 strikeouts with 21 home runs. Nolan has 37 strikeouts, 36 walks.
Castillo's going to go out with a 2-0 count and visit again with Bracho. The day after every Rockies victory, get 50% off your online order at Papa John's. Use the promo code ROCKSWIN at papajohns.com. De La Rosa again on the plus side. Shelby Miller
He's staring at his 7th loss.
Starting to rain a little bit at Coors Field. We get a lot of it.
In the outside corner, 2-1.
Running for cover.
Well, it's picking up in intensity all of a sudden. 2-2. It's one way to defend yourself against the rain. Cargo with a rocket, and the throw back to first is not in time. So he lines out to short. Now bring up Trevor Story. Two pretty good hitters there conversing.
Unbelievable how good those two are. Two best right-handed hitters in baseball. Paul Goldschmidt, Nolan Arenado. What do you think they're talking about?
Probably not what we think they're talking about.
No. Shelby Miller's haircut. Like, I don't know. I thought he kind of looked like Macklemore at first. And Goldschmidt's like, no, he never looked anywhere near that haircut, so he shaved it. Yeah, it looks awful. He came out here and we said, you can't wear that.
That's more than a hey, how you doing conversation.
Yeah.
Goldschmidt was waving his arms.
It's got to be a great conversation. Get mic'd up for this one.
Jeff Kellogg eavesdropping.
It's like, guys, you got to break it up.
Too much fraternization. 0-2. 1-2.
If they had a chance, they would share an umbrella right now.
Yeah, probably. Eli walked over, reminded Nolan to run on a ground ball. Two and two. Story doubled and scored in the fourth. Line out and a strikeout as well for Trevor. .40 extra base hits now for Story. He and Nolan both with that figure. That's a good take. That's a pitch that is easy to swing at and hard to catch up with. It's a pitch that's gotten him a number of times this year.
On the last at bat with Shelby Miller, Miller was trying to elevate on Trevor Story. That's how they like to attack him, soft and down away. Fastballs up and in.
Ball is off the end of the bat. Caught out in left field by O'Brien. 2 outs.
First baseman, number 3.
That'll bring up Descalso. Daniel, an RBI single in the fourth. There was a 1-1 game going to the bottom of the fourth, and the Rockies got 4 straight hits. Story, Descalso, Barnes, and Walters to produce 3 runs. The Rockies have added on since then, a run in the 5th on the Arenado double, and then 2 in the 6th on a 2-run home run by Tony Walters, his first career home run. Descalso fouls that off. Daniel out of Cal Davis, an economics major there. Center field, Bourne coming in, and he'll make the catch to end the inning. We go to the 8th inning. The Rockies leading 7-3 over Arizona. Peter O'Brien in the top of the 8th, with the Rockies now placing Chad Qualls on the hill. Here's an update from the Rockies minor league system. First of all, Kyle Freeland's been promoted to Albuquerque, where he'll join his very close friend Jeff Hoffman. Hoffman threw a nice ball game again last night. 6 innings, 2 runs, no walks, 9 strikeouts. He had 11 punch-outs in his previous outing. Kyle Freeland gets moved up from Hartford after fashioning a .387 ERA in the Eastern League. Overall for Hoffman, 88 strikeouts. That leads the PCL. 2 of the top prospects, not only in the Rockies organization, but 2 of the top pitching prospects in all of baseball. They're top 100 guys. Hoffman's top 25 typically, depending on what list you subscribe to. O'Brien's 0 for 3. Qualls taken over again in the 8th inning. He faced just 1 hitter yesterday and retired that man. So Miller goes an inning, gives up 2 runs on 1 hit. Did walk a batter. Michael Bourne, the 2-run home run. Fouled off his foot. Chad Qualls spent 2008 through a good portion of 2010 in a Diamondback uniform. 2008 was a great year for Chad. Had a .281 ERA, made 77 appearances, also saved on a part-time basis, had 9 saves. The next year he'd have 24 for the Diamondbacks. Outside.
Qualls has always had a very heavy sinker. Great movement, just like Brad Ziegler, even though a different arm angle. Diamondbacks always valued those hard sinker ball type pitchers, even at JJ Putz.
Ball's into the air in left center field. Barnes slides over, and Brandon makes the catch. 1 out. More news around baseball. Jose Reyes, who was designated last week for assignment by the Rockies, cleared waivers at 11 a.m. Mountain Time this morning, and shortly after he signed a minor league deal with the Mets. And he'll report, at least initially, the Brooklyn Cyclones, and that's just to get him properly ready. The Mets have infield needs right now with David Wright potentially done for the season. I know David's a third baseman, but you could conceivably, if you're the Mets, take Walker and slide him to third and have Reyes played second. And it was a place that, you know, Jose wanted to go. He lives in New York. He lives out on Long Island. And that was the team he came up with. So Reyes is now a Met again.
Reyes never played for the Brooklyn Cyclones, was only there as a rehab assignment. 1 game there. It'll be his first time in that spot.
Two strikes on Drury. You haven't eaten many of those Oreos. Did I shame you into not eating them?
No, I've been having them. I just have Doug refill them when you're not looking.
Oh, is that what? So you're on to like number 37?
Mm-hmm. My teeth are black.
Doing it without milk also.
Yeah, it's hard.
You can't have Oreos without milk.
It's like saltines without water. Makes no sense. Or soup.
Soup. Two and two. Rockies were able to change the script on Arizona of late today. Arizona has got great starting pitching in the month of June. 5th best, in fact, in Major League Baseball, 3.25 ERA. But the Rockies got after Shelby Miller this afternoon, scoring 7 runs against him in 6 innings, 11 hits. Three and two. Man, there's been a lot of 3-2 counts today.
So many 3-2 counts. Gonzalez Germain starting to warm up. Brandon Drury started off the season as the 3rd highest prospect in the Diamondbacks organization. Came to the Diamondbacks from Atlanta, part of the Justin Upton deal. We've been talking about Tulowitzki and the fact that Tulo's had on several of the Rockies players in the past. We're talking about how he's influenced Nolan and Trevor. Tulo's had an influence on Brandon Drury. Spent some time together hitting.
That misses, and that's another walk. That's 7 walks allowed by the Rockies today because De La Rosa worked around 5 walks. Miller walked 1 in front of the home run by Bourne, and now Qualls with 1 out walks Drury.
Fill out your 2016 Esurance MLB All-Star Game ballot now at Rockies.com on your computer, tablet, or smartphone. Vote up to 35 times for Nolan and the rest of the guys at Rockies.com/vote.
Nick Ahmed at the plate. Look at that.
Even the ones that don't count.
So my bad. I didn't mean to hit you in the chest. Sorry. Threw it to the fan. The fan bobbled it.
Because Nolan has the expectation that the folks in the seats are going to have the same abilities that he has. Watch here.
Look, I'm going to throw it right in your chest. Oh, and it's for the kid. See, what did I tell you? This is what I tell you. Foul balls and being put on television. That was for the kid in the Messi jersey. That's all right. It's for his son.
Okay. As long as the kid ends up with it.
Sweet hair. I like it.
1 strike on Ahmed. He goes to lay a bunt down. That didn't work out. 2 strikes. You know who got a win today? First win of the year. You know he's pitched better than this. Grandview High School's Kevin Gosman for Baltimore. 7 2/3 of shutout baseball.
How many starts did he have? Quite a few.
Baltimore shutting out Tampa Bay. He's had, I think he's 1-4 now. He's had some no decisions. A lot of talent. Big arm. Rockies may see Gosman later on this summer when they head to Baltimore. It was his 13th start of the year. So yeah, I thought he'd been in the rotation throughout. Goes back to the conversation we were having on Thursday. Because of the propensity to utilize your bullpen in Major League Baseball now, there's a lot more no decisions than there used to be.
Yeah, there really is.
Qual's stuff's pretty good today. I mean, there's been so many mishit ground balls, all foul. John's like, you know, hit one at one of my guys.
I hit it to one of those Gold Glovers.
One out, Drury at first base. 2 strikes on Ahmed. And it's 1-2.
Qualls is living right at the bottom of the zone with his sinker. That's exactly where he wants to be locating those pitches. Made one mistake, a fastball up in the zone, they got fouled off. You see, when he lives down there, it is hard to elevate, get him up in the air, square him up. Oh, he wanted that pitch. Right on the edge.
Two and 2. Qualls and his family make their home in Austin, Texas now. Great town. My favorite town in Texas, in fact. A lot of big leaguers live in Austin.
He's neighbors with Houston Street.
They talk relief pitching. They have barbecues and talk sinkers and sliders.
Yep. Well, Houston talks more fastballs, four-seam fastballs, and changeup. Great little changeup.
3-pitch closer. It's unusual, Houston. What a career Street's had. It's a legendary name in the city of Austin. That's going to go foul. This is pitch 47 to Nick Ahmed. Or it feels like that. And that's a base hit up the middle. And now you're probably going to get
might get Jake Lamb. Looks like it's going to be Herman. No, it is Lamb.
The last pitch was a slider up in the zone that really not in a bad location, just out enough for Ahmed to be able to poke it into the outfield. Jake Lamb, who comes up to the plate, is 5th in the National League with extra base hits.
This is a scary moment now in this game. Steve Foster at the mound. I need to remind everybody of last night, remind everybody of the bullpen issues of late for the Rockies. But you have a guy that's, as Billy was saying, has had a tremendous year. He's had a tremendous series. And one misplaced pitch, and it could be a one-run game again. The Rockies 2 innings ago were up 7-1, seemingly cruising. Lamb had an interesting night at the ballpark about 18 hours ago. 3 hits, 3 RBIs, 3 errors. Pulled through the hole, a base hit. Drury's going to score. And it's 1st and 3rd. It's a 3-run game. And the tying run's going to come up in Gene Segura.
Well, Qualls jumps out with the first pitch fastball away. Gets strike 1, and you have Lamb really in a defensive count. Another pitch was up in the zone. He's able to just hook it right past the diving Daniel Descalso. Segura with 4 walks today, hoping the first ball he puts in play ends the inning.
One 1-0 on Segura, who has walked 4 times in the game. Getting into the dangerous portion of the order. Segura's had an all-star first half. Bourne has a home run last inning. He's on deck. And then, of course, Goldschmidt. 1 out, 1st and 3rd. And 1 and 2. That hasn't been the issue for Chad. He's gotten ahead. He's getting that finishing pitch. And what I mean by finishing pitch, it's not necessarily a strikeout. Qualls doesn't strike out a ton of guys, but getting that mishit ground ball that he's known for. Met at 3rd, Lamb at 1st.
Segura came into today's ball game in 300 at bats, only had 14 walks. There's 4 today.
Yeah, he may have been the least likely guy in baseball to walk 4 times.
Exactly.
1-2. Ground ball to Nolan. Tough hop. 1 play to 1st. And he gets the speedy Segura. 2 outs, but another run scores, and it's 7-5.
You look at this play, it seems like a routine hop, but it is not. It's a short hop that goes, looks like it's going to hit the grass, and it ends up hitting the dirt. And Nolan, with those soft hands, able to backhand it and make the strong throw.
That would have tied up a lot of big league third basemen.
Yeah, that's not a normal hop.
Because here's something else about it. Walt's going to make a pitching change and a double switch. Reynolds is going to come in defensively at first. Descalso will check out. But, you know, there's routine ground balls, and then there's pressure ground balls. There's pressure there. You boot it. I mean, he understands that all of a sudden if the game's tightened up considerably, that adds to the difficulty of it.
It is so difficult. You have runners on the corner. You'd like to see a double play, and it just stops in between the dirt and the grass. That's incredible. That is how good this guy is. That is not routine.
Gonzalez Germain will take over. Seven to 1, 2 outs. Lamb, who pinch hit and drove in a run, is at second base. Michael Bourne is up against Gonzalez Germain.
And Germain has been one of Walt's most trusted bullpen arms, has used him very frequently to get out of some tough situations.
Last inning, Bourne hit a home run to make it 7-3 off Justin Miller. Oh, where is that?
Right there.
Should have been a strike. Right at the bottom of the Subaru strike zone. 1-1 on Bourne. It's his third team this year. Kind of at that stage of his career. Released by Atlanta early in the year, and then Toronto more recently. 1-2.
Michael Bourne gets a pitch inside from Justin Miller. Puts it right in his green zone, right where he's able to drive the baseball.
One-two. We look to see another pitch. Just got a piece of it.
Bourne just able to put a grain on the changeup.
One and two. Line drive, base hit, and it's a one-run game. And Bourne is going to end up in scoring position. Unbelievable.
Michael Bourne has been hurting the Rockies this series. Probably one of the least likely guys when you've been looking at this team. As Hasn't been doing much offensively the last 3 years. He's been battling injuries, and you can see this fastball just ran right up and down the middle. That's why it was so important for Bourne to be able to foul off that changeup. 2 strikes.
7-6 after the Rockies led an inning and a half ago 7-1, and now you have Goldschmidt up with 2 outs. RBI single in the first. The guys the Rockies have been using on the plus side in the 8th and 9th are a combination of fatigue from the last couple of days. The Rockies are going to put on the go-ahead run because of who he is and deal with Yasmani Tomas. And also, they have struggled the last couple of days. Mott, Estevez, the whole bullpen collectively has. One thing that should not be forgotten, Rockies have walked 7 in this game. De La Rosa managed around the walks. His first walk of the game was Segura, who did score in the first. But you think a last inning, leadoff walk, up 7-1. Justin Miller walks Segura, and then Bourne hits the home run. So it's an added digit on the scoreboard, potentially. Brandon Drury with 1 out against Qualls walked. And it's something the Rockies have been improved on, in fact, tremendously so this year, in not walking the number that they did the last couple of years. But today it's hurt them, and now all of a sudden they're in a nail biter again. And you can't, when you've gone through what they have the last few days, it's not like you have an abundance of confidence.
No. You lose 3 straight times in the 9th inning with the lead. Situation, it just brings back, oh man, come on.
Well, now you've passed on Goldschmidt again, understandably so. He's one of the, half dozen best hitters in the sport. But you're asking Germain to get Yasmani Tomas, talking about confidence. Well, he's rolling in confidence. He had 2 home runs last night. Strikeout, ground out, walk, and a fly ball to center field for Tomas. And a good pitch there by Germain. Fastball changeup is the repertoire for Gonzalez Germain.
They have a force out at every base. Field knows that.
Ground ball deep short. Story will get the force at second. And the Rockies will carry a 7-6 lead to the bottom of the 8th inning. 3 runs for Arizona. Rockies baseball on Root Sports is brought to you by Southwest Airlines. Book your low fare now at southwest.com. Well, the Rockies had a 7-1 lead. They were cruising on the highway, it seemed like, but now it's 7-6. Bottom of the 8th inning, Brandon Barnes, who's had a nice ball game, 2 for 3, and scored a pair of runs, will lead it off against Josh Comenter.
And I was mentioning Brandon Barnes trying to shake things up, going no batting gloves today. Why is that important? Because he has a multi-hit game. He's trying to get this team rolling, trying to get that win.
Speaking of fastball changeup, that's what you see a lot of out of Comenter in that extreme over-the-top delivery. And there's the changeup. That thing looked like it was going 60 miles an hour.
He threw a curveball last night, 69 miles an hour, and Comenter, up until last night, hadn't thrown for 11 days. His arm is fresh. He's pitched many times out of the bullpen. He's also been a starter. Great changeup.
Couple defensive changes for Arizona. Lamb stays in the ball game. He's at third base. Brandon Drury, who is at third, goes to right. The guy who made the last out, Yasmani Tomas, comes out. And it's 3-0 on Barnes. Tony Walters on deck. Taken the whole way, 3-1.
And Comenter relies so much upon the deception. He throws behind his head. I mean, it's so hard to pick up, and with an 86-mile-an-hour fastball, elevates it.
And that was elevated out of the strike zone, and he got a chase swing from Barnes.
With his changeup, it's a plus changeup, and hitters have to respect it.
That last pitch, though, is his fastball, believe it or not, folks, at 84.
And because he elevates it, throws it right above the belt, it looks good to a hitter, but it's not.
Near the dugout and in the dugout. Barnes, Walters, Reynolds here in the 8th inning. Rockies trying to end a 3-game losing streak, 3 tragic losses. They've played what was a comfortable lead into a 1-run affair again. This one to the left field corner. Barnes has his 3rd hit, and he'll fly into second with a double. No more batting gloves for the barnyard.
Ever again, you'll never see him wear batting gloves in the major leagues. Like, put it on the board. Love it. I love the fact that he's doing it tough at bat. He had 3-0, fighting just to get back on base. Comenter, just the deception, command, and the great secondary pitches, keeping the guys honest. Watch Brandon Barnes chased a couple pitches up. That location not as high up as Comenter probably wanted it. And the quick hands of Brandon Barnes to turn on it. He put Brandon Barnes in the perfect spot. How quiet he is, look how quick he's able to pull in those hands and get to that pitch.
Walters will be bunting here.
Threw a changeup to first. Can't help himself.
1-3 on the sack.
And now Mark Reynolds, who nearly was a hero last night in the bottom of the 9th inning. Hit a towering no doubter to left, but it was on the wrong side of the foul pole. Infield has to come in for Arizona. They're trying to stay within a run. 7 runs, 12 hits, and an error for the Rockies. 6 runs, 10 hits, and an error for Arizona. Reynolds against his former club.
Nobody's warming up in the Rockies bullpen, so that means to me Gonzalez Germain is going out to close this 9th inning for the Rockies. You'd love to see the extra insurance run.
2-0. Reynolds and Comenter never overlapped in Arizona at the big league level. Comenter came up in 2011. Final season in Arizona for Mark Reynolds was 2010. He was in Baltimore in 2011. Three and 1. Blackman's on deck. Rockies have hit home runs lately. Their situational hitting has not been particularly good. 4 for 26, runners in scoring position yesterday. Evidence of that.
Look out.
So ball 4. And now Blackman will come up. Seems like a long time ago, but Charlie got the Rockies ignited in the bottom of the 1st against Shelby Miller. Dropped the hammer on that one. Home run number 11 for Blackman.
Same type of situation as we saw last night. Diamondbacks going over what they're going to do on this play. They're probably going to play 3 depth, meaning that the infield will be half drawn in. Charlie Blackman, not really a double play candidate. So they'll look for the ball in the infield. Probably try to make a play at the plate.
When you were facing a guy, Spilly, that threw below normal hitting speed and then used a changeup a good portion of the time beyond that, mindset always opposite field, I would assume, opposite gap?
Yeah, you try to, but then that will sometimes take you off at the fastball. Best way is you just time up and you're trying to hit the ball hard up the middle. But with the guy with the great changeup, you have to set your sights up in the zone.
Charlie ambushes the first pitch. He does not do that a lot, less than 10% of the time. He pulled it foul. Now Charlie has to think like a middle of the order guy. I mean, he's an RBI guy right now. He's any way I can get that run home. That's what he's thinking. Give Gonzalez Germain a 2-run lead.
With the great location, 2 cutters inside under Charlie's hands. They look like strikes, look like good pitches. You see on the Subaru strike zone, not strikes. That's about all Charlie can do with them is hook them foul. Good passes by Charlie.
And Charlie comes through. Base hit to right. Come on down, Brandon Barnes. 8-6 Colorado.
Unbelievable, Charlie Blackmon. He just got set up. 2 cutters in. He was trying to speed you up so he could get you out with the changeup away. Location was missed. It was up. Cole Mentor didn't like it as soon as Charlie hit it. But being able to be like Charlie, he's not afraid to hit with 2 strikes. Was not afraid to hit off Josh Cole Mentor, hitting over 400 off the guy. That is a huge run for the Rockies, given the fact that the last 3 days have been so difficult for the team.
Here's DJ. Ball and a strike on LeMahieu. 1 out. Reynolds at second. Blackmon at first. The Rockies were retired in this game in order 1 time. That was back in the 3rd by Shelby Miller. They have scored in 5 different frames. And LeMahieu thought that was going to be a 2-1 count. Instead, it's a 1-2 count.
That's the swing count we talk about. You saw where the first 2 pitches were. Fouled one of them off. That swing count, the difference between a ball and a strike on a 1-1 pitch, makes all the difference in the world. Luckily, the 2 batters, Charlie Blackmon and DJ LeMahieu, they have no problem hitting with 2 strikes.
In the air, deep left center field, and this one is gone. Wow! 3-run home run in the deepest portion of the park by DJ LeMahieu.
Told you he doesn't mind hitting with 2 strikes. Back-legged him. Gets a pitch up. That swing, he wasn't just trying to foul the pitch off. He was taking his quality swing. Ball up in the zone where Cole Mentor wants it. And DJ just driving through it, sitting on the backside. That's where the big boys go, DJ.
5th home run of the year. And now the Rockies are up by 5. Right in that corner, folks, it's 424 feet. It's not labeled out there, but it's 424. That's a long, long way. Still only 1 out. 1-1 count on Arenado. And Nolan lines it to center field. He hit it too hard, though. Bourne makes the catch.
A nice jump by Michael Bourne. Ball tailing away from him. Had a little hook to it. Watch the first step quickness from Michael Bourne and watch how the ball is hooking away from him. 2-time Gold Glover with Michael Bourne. It's an excellent play.
Cargo doubled back in the first inning. A couple of ground outs and a line out to short. One strike. And Cargo is going to have himself a base hit. May have a double out of this. He should. Second double of the ball game for Cargo. On the season, his 18th. He's got 35 extra base hits.
The Rockies are hoping to just add one insurance run. They have 4 this inning. Ball off the corner of the plate. Cargo puts good wood on it. Just enough. Finds a spot in the defense where nobody is. He's going to stand on second base. You'd love to see it. One more run tagged on.
Yeah, obviously Cargo hit that off the end of the bat, but it should come as no surprise. People try to pitch him away, and he's hitting the ball away better than anybody in baseball.
This could be the most intentional walks I've seen in 2 games ever. 5 last night.
Story goes down to first. Ninth man to hit here in the 8th inning will be Gonzalez Germain. Highest average on pitches away. Only Daniel Murphy in the National League has a better average. He can hit pitches on the black. He can hit pitches 3-4 inches off the plate with authority. Let's see how Gonzalez handles the bat. Germain with his 5th at bat of his career. He's 0 for 4.
And that is why they did the intentional walk. They had Ryan Rayburn on deck, pretending like he might hit. Chip Hale was going to call the bluff, knowing that the Rockies didn't have many guys left in the bullpen.
Really? Come on, he hasn't had an at-bat in a while. Got rung up there. The Rockies open up a big lead again. It was a 1-run lead when they took the bats in the bottom of the 8th. They scored 4 times, highlighted by LeMahieu's 3-run homer. 11-6 going to the 9th. LeMahieu, another big day for Colorado, none bigger than that 3-run home run he hit a few minutes ago. Let's get you to center field. Preview of what's to come after the ball game. Here's Jenny, Corey, and Jeff.
All right, Drew, thanks so much. The big guns came out to play today, and we're not talking Nolan, Cargo, and Story.
Blackman, Walters, and LeMahieu.
The big guns.
Hey. Don't forget about the barnyard. 3 for 4 with 3 runs scored. Big day for Brandon.
Yes, Superman had a great day at the plate indeed, guys. We'll have fun breaking it down. Hopefully the 5-run lead today will be good in the 9th.
Exactly. No more drama. We had enough of that last night. Gonzalez Germain continuing on. Wellington Castillo at the plate. And a big swing and a miss. Germain is trying to pick off just his 3rd career save. It would be his 1st since 2013 when he was employed by the New York Mets. And if you're saying, wait a second, there's a 5-run lead. Well, he came in when it was a 2-run ball game. The bat exploded and the ball didn't go anywhere.
Bad wood.
Can't go up there with balsa wood, can you?
Nope. You'll see that happen to bats with the cup on it at the end of some bats when they hollow out the end to try to change the center of gravity or the center of where the weight's at. They have the cup.
And a strikeout to begin the inning. 1 gone.
And this is what Germain needed. The great changeup down. Great location on it. It's Castillo to swing right over the top.
O'Brien takes ball 1. O'Brien's 0 for 4. And that misses. 2 balls and a strike. Jorge De La Rosa gave up 1 run in 6 innings. It's 3-1, which kind of continues a trend. Since June the 3rd, the Rockies starting pitchers have posted a 3.82 ERA. You know, the Pens had some rough patches. They're in the midst of one right now. But if you're talking about a sub-4 ERA, pitching half your games at Coors Field, I figure you're doing a lot of winning. And the Rockies actually in their last 18 games are above 500. It doesn't feel that way right now because of the last few days. They're 10-8. Really had a chance to have a terrific stretch. With 3 extremely difficult losses in a row, to say the least. 3-2 on O'Brien. And that is the 8th walk, actually 9th walk, because there was the intentional walk of Schmidt. How many times you walk 9 guys in a game and live to tell about it?
It's not very often. The Rockies came into today's game leading the National League, one of the best teams as a relief corps at limiting walks.
Well, they've improved. We were talking about it earlier. They've improved so much over
the last couple of years, but today has not been good. De La Rosa somehow navigated around 5 walks. That old line, when you're up this many runs, see how far they can hit it, right?
That's exactly right. Challenge the hitters. No free passes.
Drury's walked twice today. 1 ball, 1 strike. And it's 2-1. And what a catch by Story. Double play. Ball game over. Thankfully. And the Rockies end the 3-game slide. They win it 11-6 over Arizona. What a great play by Trevor Story to end it.
DJ loves it. Off the end of the webbing. And then a quick turnaround. Just no idea if he's off the base or not. Turns and throws it, catches O'Brien.
And Gonzalez-Germain ends up with his 3rd career save. De La Rosa's the winning pitcher. He's now 5-4. And Shelby Miller takes the loss. He drops to 2-7. Rockies win it with 15 hits today. Our Jimmy John's delivery of the game. Some candidates to choose from, but how about Tony Walters? Tony with his first career home run and a career high 4 RBIs. He's deserving. Our Jimmy John's delivery of the game provided by Tony Walters, the Rockies' young catcher. Again, the final score, the Rockies beat Arizona 11-6. They're now 20 up and 20 down against the NL West. Happy post-game show. Let's get you there now. Jenny, smiles for everybody.
Yeah, it should be a lot of fun.